It's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the number one business development and revenue focused late night show in the country where we're on a mission. And our mission is to inspire, our mission is to empower, and our mission really is to provide you, the entrepreneur, with all those resources that are necessary to execute that big vision that you can't do it by yourself. So you need resources to execute that big vision you have for the people you were called to serve. And today we have the one and only Jevon Wooden is here today. So let me say, what's up, Jevon? How are you?
Shay, what's going on, man? A pleasure, honored, blessed, man. I'm feeling great.
Good, man. Well, thanks a lot for being here, man. I certainly appreciate that. Had a chance to meet you, I think about a year or so ago at a Dr. Cheryl Wood event, which was super amazing. It was here in Washington, D.C., although
right.
I know you're in Houston. I've had a chance to admire you, follow you. I love his long posts on Instagram. Hopefully I'll give you guys his Instagram handle. Are really, really cool. He goes into great detail about what he's thinking, and I love that, being inside his head. But let me just jump into it if I can, man. You've got this topic, which is clarity, courage, and cash, like the 3 C's. Take a moment, if you would, and here's the question. Why do entrepreneurs struggle with mindset? We've heard about it. We've read about it. We watch videos about it. We watch Instagram in the morning about it. But yet we struggle with having the right mindset to produce the results we want. So my question to you is, and maybe I'm just coming out the gate, but why do entrepreneurs struggle with mindset?
Hey, I like just coming out the gate and getting right to it, man. So entrepreneurs need a different mindset, right? So the mindset of an entrepreneur is one of resilience, where we're not risk averse. We are risk takers, right? So it's just a different type of animal, different type of beast. And we struggle with that primitive brain, which is telling us, hey, don't do this, that fear, that imposter syndrome, as they like to call it. We struggle with that because we're doing something different, especially those of us who are that first generation entrepreneur. We haven't seen it done before. Not in person, right? We've seen it afar, we see on TV and all these other things, but doing it is something completely different. And you also, like you said, you can't do it on your own. So sometimes you have to seek knowledge. And we all know that there's people popping up out of nowhere saying they're coaches, consultants. So you have to have this trust factor, right? So I always talk about the delegate, delete, delay, and automate. And it's your baby as an entrepreneur. So sometimes it's really, really hard to relinquish some of that power. So that's why we struggle with the mindset as a whole.
Now you can't leave us hanging. You always talk about delegate, leap, and what's the third one?
So delegate, delete, delay, and automate.
Okay, so that's so ladies and gentlemen, he's gonna break that thing down because he said it so fast. But I liked it. Delegate, leap, something. So take a minute or two if you can. Slow down, and then we'll speed back up and break that down, because this is one of his core philosophies. Sounds like it's one of his core principles. Sounds like it's one of the methodologies that he uses when he's working with organizations or companies or individuals. So you lean in right now, because this wasn't expected, but he's going to peel the curtain, and you're going to experience the one and only Jevon Wooden in this moment now. Take it away, man.
Yes, sir. So I call it my 3DA formula. So delegate, really looking at your operations. That's why it's so important when you're doing things as a business owner, especially when you're starting, to document the journey, right? Writing your processes, creating standard operating procedures. So then you're going to take those and you're going to give someone else the power to take control. So delegating, you could be admin work, emails, it could be copywriting. Look at what you do not need to be doing, right? Those tasks that need to get done, but don't necessarily need your zone of genius. Delegate those. Deleting is saying, okay, I really want to hit this goal, but maybe not right now. Maybe it's not necessary to achieve what the greater picture is for my business or my life. So you take those out, right? Warren Buffett said, write down your goals, write about 10, look at the top 5, and then get rid of at least 2 of those, so you only have 3. So delete everything else that does not need to get done. And then delaying. Delaying is saying, all right, I really want to add this course. I really want to bring on another employee, but I need to wait. Maybe not Q1, maybe it's Q4, maybe it's next year. So looking at things from a really philosophical and a practical perspective. And then you have automate. We all hear automation, right? So automating is making sure that things flow. If there's a repetitive task, if it's something that is done consistently, is day-to-day operations, look at how you can automate that. Automating does not necessarily mean technology. It could be automating through having someone else do it, right? Tying it back into that delegation.
You serve. Thanks for sharing that, man. That is
My
awesome.
pleasure.
I love that. That's a great. It's always good to have a philosophy. Philosophy should drive all of us. Something that's deep, deep inside of us. I know that you served in the military, the Army. Thank you so much for serving, by the way. My wife served for 28 years right now, supports the military. And we used to be out at Fort Sam Houston, out in San Antonio for a lot of years, by the way. I know you're over in Houston and
Yeah.
probably traveled all over the world. But my question to you, that folks might be thinking as well, is what was one or two of the principles that he learned serving in our military that serves him well today, that he's able to pass on to everyone else right now? So I guess here's the question. What was one of the principles that you learned serving in our military? And once again, on this day, thanks so much for serving, that you're going to share with us. Please take it away.
Hey, thank you for the support, and thank you and your family for serving 28 years. Wow, that's amazing, man. So I learned so many principles, and one of the principles is what I talked about earlier, like not relying on just yourself. In the military, you have to look to your left and your right. Some people you don't even know, right? And really leaning on that and looking at collaboration over competition. We need to look at it more from the perspective of how can we work together, not how can we compete. The second principle I learned is leadership through storytelling, right? When you leading is not managing. There's a distinction between that. Managing is telling people how to get it done. Leadership is leaning on those strengths that they have, really inspiring and encouraging to do it their own and letting them have that autonomy. So I learned leadership through storytelling, using my personal experiences to lean in and get other people to feel like they can, feel like they are capable, and feel like they have what it takes and all the resources they need to get it done.
You work with business owners as well. And take a moment for the person that's watching right now. Say, well, I know he helps get cash flow. Number one, Shay, what type of businesses does he work with today? Because they may be sitting out there saying, hey, this possibly is for me as well. Or they might know someone they can refer it on to. So take a moment and talk about the type of clients you help, how you help them. He can handle this, ladies and gentlemen. He can handle this. And those two questions, yeah. Type of clients you work with and how do you help them?
Absolutely. I love service businesses. So coaches, consultants, speakers, authors, really people who are purpose driven, mission driven, don't necessarily need a product, not a physical product. I love helping them because it's really difficult to let people know how you can help them with an intangible piece, like something they can't hold. So getting them their messaging, getting them clarity on who they need to be speaking to, looking at their value ladder, meaning what they are presenting and how they really take a customer within the journey and increase the lifetime value of that client, right? For instance, we all hear about the free ticket and the low ticket, mid ticket, but it's more than that, right? Really saying, all right, how can I serve without burning myself out, without working those 60 hours? Because my week.
All right. So what I like to do right now, if I can, is just have you say once again, start over again, if you don't mind. How do you help entrepreneurs, and what type of entrepreneurs are you looking for these days?
Absolutely. So I focus on service entrepreneurs, people who are purpose and mission driven. So coaches, consultants, trainers, speakers, authors, etc. So I really use my 5 why framework, and the 5 why framework goes like this: you have your yardstick. What is the goal that you're looking to hit? The yield. How can we do that? How can we hit that the easiest way? YAR is making your business flow easily. That's where the 3DA formula comes in at. And then we look at flexible and scalable. And then we also have the yearn. So we want to decrease the dollars you spend on marketing by having your customers and your fans evangelize the brand, right? That word of mouth marketing, that referral marketing, affiliates, influencers, partnerships, etc. So how can we leverage those? And what we want to do with all of that is we want to increase the value ladder. And we want to look at how we can remove you from having to do everything in your business, but also gain more revenue. And that's where that increasing clarity, cash flow.
I
You
love
there,
how you
sir?
said that, man. You brought them all together. Let me hit. So the question is, they're hearing all this great information, right? So they're hearing, okay, he has the 3 C's, he has the D's over here. We learned what he's been taught in the military and how we can best use it. And now he's talking about how you can develop cash flow in your business. And you might be wondering, who is Jevon? Like, okay, what's the backstory that led him to have so much passion to be doing what he's doing now? Because he'd be doing a whole lot of things with his life. But no, he's out here trying to help you design your life and design your business. So I'm going to sit back and, Jevon, if you can, tell me a little about the backstory. How did you get this superpower and what led you to doing what you're doing today? We all want to know.
Man, that's a great question. I like to say that adversity has taught me these things. I talked about earlier the entrepreneurial mindset. Well, mine started just growing up in Rochester, New York, that poverty. It taught me how to be resilient and it taught me how to be resourceful. Just man, I faced 7 years in prison when I was 17 years old. And that was really my wake up call. Sitting in that jail cell awaiting trial. Thankfully, I didn't have to do the 7 years. I ended up on probation for a bit instead because they gave me another chance. And with that second chance, I realized, that champions come back better, as you always talk about, Shay. It was my chance, my turn. So that's when I joined the military and I learned the power of collaboration, of compassion, of really looking at people not as my competition, but as my partners. And being a partner doesn't necessarily mean you're working with people that always like you, but you have a job to do and you are purpose and mission driven. So I'm a man of compassion. I'm a man of patience, of kindness, and I'm a man with a purpose of serving others and helping people really design a life and business they don't need a vacation from.
They don't need a vacation from. I love it, man. Thanks for being authentic. Thanks for sharing the backstory. We certainly appreciate that. And, nobody gets to where they are alone. And I'm just curious, on this journey of life, I know you've had so many mentors. I always say it's an unfair question because you could probably pick a mentor from any point in time in your life. But I'd like for you to think for a moment about a mentor that's had a big impact on you based on help you be where you are today. What was one of the lessons that mentor taught you that you would want to pass on to us?
Absolutely. I mean, many of my mentors were virtual because, like I said, growing up, I didn't see a lot of people doing what I wanted to do. So I'll lean on Muhammad Ali. And Muhammad Ali taught me to be authentically you, no matter what the circumstances is. When he decided not to go to the military and fight over in Vietnam because he said it didn't align with his beliefs, I realized to stand on what you believe in. And when you stand on what you believe in, you will never struggle to achieve that purpose, right? You leave a legacy because people see what you're doing, right? It's not about being a martyr. It's about being authentically you. It's about serving with the purpose and serving with the passion and just standing for something.
Tell us about this book you wrote, man. I love Muhammad Ali, man. One of the greatest of all time, by the way. Oh,
Yeah.
the greatest. There is no
The
other
greatest.
greatest. Like Muhammad Ali, and then there's the rest of the great, right? Not to take anything away from so many other folks, but certainly someone we all admire. Take a moment if you can, and you've written a book. And folks want to know the name of the book, who the book is for. Maybe share a golden nugget out of that book. Now, y'all still got to go buy the book, all right? I want to make sure
Yeah.
you're very, very clear.
Please.
You still got to go buy the book. But I'm going to ask them this to give you the premise so you understand why he wrote the book, who the book is for, and at least it'll share an idea, something that you can use over and beyond today. And again, thanks so much, Jevon, for being here at the Happy Entrepreneur Show, man. We appreciate you. Love your energy. Love what you're doing, helping folks design a life and a business. Take it away. Your
Absolutely,
book.
man. So the book is called Own Your Kingdom: How to Control Your Mindset So You Can Control Your Destiny. And it's about everything we spoke about today, having that mindset to go for what you want in life. And one of the nuggets is forgiving yourself, right? We all have done something that we wish we could have been like, oh, I would have done that differently. But moving forward, right? Getting from out of the past to being present in that moment. That's one of the biggest lessons you can learn from that book. And the book is really it's a synopsis of all the tools that I use to leverage overcoming depression and PTSD when I came back from my last deployment in 2017 to Afghanistan. I went through a deep depression. Had suicidal ideation. So this is what I used. It comes with a workbook with a few exercises that you can leverage to create an action plan for lasting success. And you can go ahead and grab that on my website, brightmindconsultinggroup.com.
brightmindconsultinggroup.com. www.brightmindconsultinggroup.com. Why the name Bright Mind?
Bright Mind. So I came up with that name. My company had went through a transformation. It was Live Not Loathe, but we were doing more than just life. We added the business component, right? So Bright Mind is really about coming from a perspective of ideation, of elevation, and that light comes on, people are surprised at what they can accomplish. So that's why I named it Bright Mind Consulting Group.
I didn't know that, man. I was always curious. I saw Live and Not Loathe, and then I saw Bright Mind Consulting. And I love both, by the way. I
Yes.
mean, I love both. I mean, I think the premise is spot on. You had Live Life Not Loathe. Talk about that if you can. Because I know now this,
Yeah.
you got to go over to brightmindconsulting.com. Is that what it is? www. What's the website again?
Yeah. brightmindconsultinggroup.com.
So everyone head over to www.brightmindconsultinggroup.com. Again, www.brightmindconsultinggroup.com. Get the book, follow him, and book him, by the way. He has his own podcast. I'm going to have him talk about that in a moment. But first, if you can, Live and Not Loathe. What was the backstory of that?
Absolutely, man. It's really my transformation that I now offer my clients, right? Loathing whatever your circumstances is, loathing life, and loathing is really, it's deeper than hate. it's a feeling that is indescribable. It's like you would just abhor it. You really want it to change. You are tired of it, right? So I loathe life, and a lot of my customers and clients, they loathe their business, they loathe the jobs they was in, they loathe their circumstances. So it represents a transformation to living again, to really seeing that you have agency, that you have some things that you can control, and it starts with your effort, becoming a product of your effort and not your circumstances. So that's where the name Live Not Loathe came from.
I love it, man. You know, you have so much going on. You have a beautiful family, by the way. I love seeing the pictures. If you ever got to follow him on Instagram, you go to Jevon Wooden, I believe it is .com. I mean, on Instagram. Is that it? At Jevon Wooden?
Coach, Jevon Speaks.
Jevon Speaks. Okay, go to Jevon Speaks on Instagram. You'll see him. He posts regularly what he's doing with his family and so forth. He's just an amazing, incredible human being. And now he's taking all that he knows, and you should hire him. I mean, if he's the right person for you, at least meet with him. Go over to brightmindconsultinggroup.com. Make sure you follow the instructions. I'm sure there's a way you can book him there. You can schedule a time with them and just have a conversation. I'm going to ask him now why he's turned this passion just to serving others. He's recently at this time released a podcast. And I'm going to let him tell you the name of the podcast. I love it. Design Your Life and Business. And I love that. So, Jevon, why that word's design your life and business? And what's this podcast all about, man? I can't wait. I haven't heard it yet, but my promise is I'm going to go listen to it today. On this day, I'm going to go download my episodes, by the way, because I understand it's on Apple, and I'm an iTunes guy. So I'm an Apple guy. I believe God is a woman, and I believe she has an iPhone. Okay, don't judge me. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. Don't judge me.
Hey, no judgment, man. I love it. I love it. So the Design Your Life and Business podcast is a podcast for leaders. And I want people to understand that everyone is a leader, right? We are all leaders. We all are the CEOs of our lives. And I started this podcast because I wanted people to get an inside look without all the fluff on how the greatest 1% of folks, entrepreneurs and people at the peak performance of their lives are doing it, right? Peel back that curtain and have these conversations without all the fluffy stuff and without all the surface level discussions. Because I ask those deep things that are burning questions that we all want to know. So this is my way of sitting down, keeping it real with them, and getting this information out to the marginalized groups, right? I want the marginalized communities, especially my community of Black people, to really, really start these businesses and not fail after 5 years, after 3 years, but to grow something that is a legacy that is generational, right? That will continue to fund and flourish long after we're gone.
Love it, man. When you hear the word discipline, it means different things to different people. How does Jevon, one, what does discipline mean to you? And then how do you find the discipline? I know you're an athlete. I know that you work out several times. I don't have to say this, by the way. You can go to his Instagram page. He posts. I don't post every time I work out, but he's always posting when he's working out. He's posting what he's doing. You'll see him and his wife doing what they're doing in there. So there's a common thread that I believe that all successful people have, this common thread, which is discipline. And I don't know if we're born with it, because I don't believe we are. I believe we do small things well and we get big results. But the question is really for you, discipline. When you hear the word discipline, what does it mean? And how do you develop the discipline to get the things you want to get done, even when you don't feel like it, man? That's hard to do. And you've been consistent at it.
Thank you, man. I think Jocko Willink, who's a former Navy SEAL, I think he said it best. Discipline equals freedom, right? Discipline will take you places that motivation can't, because motivation is fleeting. Discipline means you're willing to do what it takes to get to where you're looking to go, right? And my discipline really comes from that struggle. I know what I don't want, and I know what I want. And sometimes knowing what you don't want is stronger than knowing what you want, right? Because if I sit down and I'm sitting there and I'm saying, okay, I'm sitting here watching TV, I really should get a workout in. The discipline is going to get me up and get me moving. And Mel Robbins, I use her 5-second rule all the time. She has a 5-second rule. And she says, count backwards from 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Physically move towards your goal. And that's what I leverage when I just do not feel like doing something. I think about what it means. Like, what am I sacrificing if I don't do it? And what am I gaining if I do it? And that's what keeps me moving.
What do you do for fun when you're not out saving the world, man? When you're not out saving the world, working out, discipline, writing books, consulting. What does Jevon do for fun?
Man, I love to travel. I love trying different foods. I believe food really gives you an experience of culture. So I recommend everyone goes to travel. Don't stay in your little bubble. I love just experiences. We work out, of course. That's fun to me. But I also spend time with my dog, Hachi. We go just do things, man. I might go to the movies. I might chill out with my friends, have a couple drinks. I'm a regular person, man. I like to live and enjoy.
I love it, man. I love it. Travel. Now, you can't say you love to travel, and people got to have the question, well, Shay, where has he traveled, and what's one of his favorite spots to go to? I think it's a fair question. Then we'll move on. But absolutely, I don't put you on the spot because I know it's hard to do. Somebody says, Shay, where do you love to travel? I'm like, well, okay, I love Mexico. I love Puerto Vallarta. We've got a place there. I mean, I love so many spots. But nice. For you, what's one of your favorite places to travel that you've been to?
Man, South Africa, without a doubt. South Africa is one of my favorite places I've traveled. Man, it just felt great as soon as I got there.
I had a chance to go to Cape Town. I know that's the touristy place, right? And I spent about 2 weeks there. But where did you travel there, and what did you enjoy most about it?
Yeah, I went to Johannesburg and Cape Town. So Joburg is more of the, it's more of the rural, the city, right? And I love Joburg just because the culture, everybody, it still has that feel. Right, Cape Town is more like the beach town. It's like just beautiful, man. You get that air off the sea. It was just so relaxing, man. I just love everything about it. The wineries, the scenery, Table Mountain, all that stuff. Just experiencing it and feeling so good. I just felt like all my stress went off when I went there.
I love being anywhere the water is too, man. You know how to say anywhere the water is. And my wife's a foodie as well, by the way. So we're going to find a place to eat and try something, which is It's a challenge for me, but I expand my comfort zone, and I now have a pleasure for spices and oils that taste just amazing, by the way. So I've done that recently. So here's the question. We have a segment here, Jevon, called Today is my January 1st. And for all the family that get to tune in on a regular basis every night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can go ahead and say those words. Today is my January 1st. That just feels good. Today is my January 1st. And for those folks that are tuning in for the very first time, today is my January 1st represents really a do-over. It's one of our personal mantras. It represents a fresh start. Doesn't that feel good? It means that our past, no matter what has happened, our past no longer equals our future. And that we don't have to wait till December 31st on the back of some napkin, by the way, and say, you know what, it's 11:59. I now have this new energy. I have this new vigor. I'm going to go out and do something. No. Every day you wake up and there's breath and oxygen going through your lungs, it's a January 1st. So my question to Jevon is when you hear those words, today is my January 1st, one, what does he hear? And what was one of his January 1st moments?
Man, I love this, Shay. One of my January 1st moments, I would have to lean back to 2017 when I came home from my last deployment, man. I did not feel good. Like I said earlier, I had suicidal ideations, and I remember calling my oldest sister, and I told her, man, I just don't want to do this anymore. I do not enjoy living. I do not enjoy life. And she said 2 words. She said, get help. Now, I never heard that, right? Come from where I'm from, we don't get help, right? We just keep it, you stand 10 toes down and do it on your own and all that stuff. But that gave me the license to go ahead and start therapy, and it gave me the license to get my own coach. And that's how you see me today. And that's why I have this vigor for life, this zest for life. So that was my January 1st.
Wow, we're talking to the one and only Jevon Wooden, by the way. You can go find him over at www.brightmindsconsultinggroup.com. Again, consultinggroup.com, by the way. Jevon, first, let me say thank you so much for being on the Happy Entrepreneur Show, man. I appreciate you being here, spending time with us. By the way, you can always make more money, so you can go do that, but you can never make more time. So I'm always very, very thankful when folks give us the most precious gift they have, which in this case is their time. So thank you so much for being here. I want to turn it over to you, man, to have your closing comments or thoughts to inspire, to empower folks when these fiber optic lines go off and wherever they're watching this on demand. Some folks might be listening to us in the gym through their ears. Some folks may be on YouTube right now. They've got to go back and do what they got to do. So what are your final thoughts or comments to empower and inspire the audience, please? Again, thanks so much for being on the Happy Entrepreneur Show.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Shay. And remember, before I even give some thoughts, that y'all can go ahead and connect with me on Instagram or all platforms. Jevon Speaks, LinkedIn and Facebook, Jevon Wooden. Just search my name. There's not many of me, I don't believe. So just search me on those platforms and then connect with me on brightmindconsultinggroup.com. But the words that I would like to share with people is, I love that January 1st. And I want people to realize that where you are today is not where you have to stay, right? Look at the life you want, look at the business you want, and live like that. Everything you do needs to align with who you want to be in the business you want. Just remember that and let that carry you through those tough times. Remember that today is not going to be your future. So your circumstances can change. It is not a permanent thing. You just have to continue to believe and continue to be a product of your effort, not your circumstances.
Once again, you've been listening to the one and only Jevon Wooden. Thanks so much for watching the Happy Entrepreneur Show. I appreciate every single one of you that tune in. Thank you for sharing the show and paying it forward to other folks. I want you to know that you're amazing. That's why you're here. You're incredible. That's pretty cool. And that today, in fact, is your January 1st. And because of that reason, your best is still yet to come. Your best is yet to come. I believe deep in my heart, your best is still yet to come. So with that being said, my name, by the way, is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. And I promise you from the bottom of my heart, we'll make some good things happen. We connect again next time. Remember this, though. Time is long. Life, on the other hand, well, it's very, very short. So you got to live in that moment and you got to make it count. God bless and we wish you success. Thanks a lot, Jevon. You're incredible. We appreciate you, man. Bye-bye to all of y'all.
Thank you, man.
Peace.